although our court has passed on most of the points they raised, and if it was a matter where a man was just sentenced over to imprisonment for a term of years, why, we could probably decide the matter today. But when a man's life's at stake, why, I don't think we make a mistake by being deliberate.
The governor feels that Pete Williams or any other citizen of this state is entitled to take all legal remedies that may be afforded it, and since the court has asked the governor to grant this 30-day stay of execution, the governor will grant the 30 days as requested by the court.
Actually, I feel good about it.
You do feel good about it? You said you were a little more nervous. How were you feeling this morning? Pretty calm about what you thought was going to happen?
I pretty well accepted it.
Pete, how do you think that this whole thing came about? Is there any one thing you can pinpoint that it came from, it started from?
No, I laid down on that death row for 29 months trying to figure out the whys of the thing. It would be impossible to give it would be impossible to pinpoint it.
Pete, how did you feel when they moved you out of death row this morning at 3 o'clock?
Well, I think my greatest emotion was a sense of loneliness. You feel like you're entirely alone.
Pete, now you're sweating out 31 days of this stay. Do you think it would be harder to wait those 31 days and know that you were going to die at the end of them, or know that you were going to be in here for the rest of your life and never see the outside again?
Well, I'll tell you, I never want to see the expressions and I just don't want to see the way my people have been this last week. I don't want to see that again.
Would you rather they not come by again?
If I have to go down, I'd rather they didn't see me again.
Now, under the schedule, this is the way it would work. This, gentlemen, is the way that the federal government derives their cuts from be on 100 proof, and that would be $2. Base 90 proof would be $1.80. 86 8/10 would be $1.74. 86 proof would be $1.72. 84 proof would be $1.68. 80 proof would be $1.60. 70 proof would be $1.40. And 60 proof would be $1.20. And I think there'd be no need to go down any further. We tried to get somewhere within the limits of where that we still, our people would buy from our record merchants, and yet not get it too high that they'd be bootlegging and bringing unpaid whiskey into the state.
What do you think they did that was unfair for you?
Well, I read interviews, so-called interviews in the paper where there was no more truth to it than, I mean, I was quoted direct quotes. And I know I hadn't said anything like that. Several different occasions. And of course, a man can't did the things I did, can't expect good publicity, but still you expect them to at least print the facts instead of distorting everything.
Are you referring to these things such as, quote, a wild, raving, godless person? Is that the sort of thing that you're referring to?
I believe so, sure.
You mentioned to us this morning that a Tulsa reporter had told you why it was played that way in the papers. Would you like to repeat?
Well, I asked him why the thing had been so much blown all out of proportion. I committed a terrible crime. But anyway, he told me that I asked one of them why it had been blown up to such proportions. And he told me, said at the time this thing happened, that there was no news of national or statewide importance. So they had played the story up, used it as a feature story.
Do you think that that influenced the court?
Well, it was bound to. Well, like I told you this morning, I had received letters from members of his family, and they told me at that time that they didn't hold any grudge against me, that they had forgiven me for what I did. But when they started screaming for my blood like that, why, that eased my conscience a lot, because I was conscience-stricken for the way I had hurt them in taking their son's life. And it has, in that regard, it has eased my conscience some as far as they're concerned.
Much has been made of the fact that your father hasn't visited you. I know that you don't care to go into that, but how do you feel about your father now?
I think my father's a fine man.
What do you think
And
of...
I'd like to add that anything that the papers or others have said about him, I can't go along with it. My father has always been good to me, and I don't blame him in the least for anything.
To drink alcoholic beverage in any public place where minors are allowed, except restaurants where the owners or managers do not prohibit public drinking, and where all containers of alcoholic beverage are kept out of public view. Paragraph 2 of the same section. It shall be unlawful for any person to be drunk on any highway, street, or in any public place or business. If any person shall disturb the peace while drunk or drinking, he shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by not more than $100 fine or 10 days in jail.
Beer halls, beer joints, or pool halls, that liquor can be drunk in those places.
Cannot be drunk.
It shall be unlawful to drink alcoholic beverages in any public place where minors are allowed. Now, those are public places where minors are not allowed. And I say that under that they can drink it.
Well, Senator,
In a pool hall or a beer joint.